With the release of Spider-Man Brand New Day, it's strange to reflect on the journey of the MCU Spider-Man, especially when it comes to the marketing of these movies. Every film came out during a different era of the MCU, which is heavily reflected in how the marketing team pushed the movies to the audience. So how exactly did Far From Home tap into the post-Endgame hype and set up what was to become Marvel's multiverse saga? We first learned that a Spider-Man Homecoming sequel was officially happening back in December of 2016 when Sony went ahead and announced a July 5th, 2019 release date. At this point, Homecoming was still months away, but Sony was clearly confident in the film to start planning the franchise out. Anyways, after Homecoming came out and was pretty well received, the question became, where do they go next? And most importantly, how do you market a Spider-Man movie when, at least as far as the general public knew, Spider-Man had died at the end of Infinity War? That was the core dilemma facing the Far From Home marketing. Peter was dead. Avengers Endgame was coming out on April of 2019, and Far From Home was scheduled to release after that. So Sony and Marvel had to figure out how to promote this movie without spoiling that Peter gets resurrected in Endgame, but also they had to avoid spoiling any major plot elements from the film. On June 23rd of 2018, Tom Holland posted an Instagram video. The caption was, "Sorry for no announcement, but I love you guys." In the video, he's holding an iPad and claims he's about to spoil something because Marvel never tells him anything. He flips the iPad around and there's the title reveal, Spider-Man Far From Home. Now at the time, fans genuinely didn't know if this was real.
I don't even know how to react to what Tom just said there. Yeah. I mean, I really don't.
What did I just say?
You said Spider-Man's in space.
Oh, that thing!
Tom Holland spoiling things had become a running gag for a while, so many people dismissed this as just another joke. But then Sony officially confirmed the title the very next day, and looking back, it's pretty obvious this was staged.
I don't really know how it all comes into play, but I do know is I got the new script, I'm super excited to read it, and it's gonna be great. So yeah, Spider-Man 2, let's do this.
From there, things moved fast. By July 22nd, the first set photos started coming out, just simple shots of Tom Holland. Then on July 5th, set video from East London leaked. And by July 17th, actor Numan Akar had joined the cast as a character named Dmitri. Immediately fans started speculating this was actually Dmitri Smerdakov, better known as the Chameleon. The theory picked up even more steam when director John Watts told Screen Rant that Dmitri worked for Nick Fury and had a mysterious past. People started wondering if Nick Fury himself was actually the Chameleon in disguise, especially since by this point, there were rumors that Mysterio was a villain in the film, but also that he might not be the real villain either. Speaking of which, in May 2018, reports had already broken that Jake Gyllenhaal was in talks to play the villain Mysterio, but there was no indication on whether he'd get the role. On August 14th, Tom Holland posted another Instagram video. This video showed his stunt double getting blasted on set.
Greg? Where'd he go?
This led many fans to think the Hydro Man might show up. By August 31st, Molten Man had been rumored as another minor villain in the film, so it was clear that Molten Man and the Hydro Man would serve as major antagonists in the movie. The set leaks kept coming out. In September, photos from Prague showed a statue being built in the Times Square, plus shots of Spider-Man and what looked like a black stealth suit. On September 23rd, set videos showed citizens running from something. Then on September 25th, a photo leaked showing Ned with a masked man in a black cloak and white mask. Many believed that this was Mysterio, though at the time, his involvement had not been officially confirmed. On October 4th, spy cams apparently caught Jake Gyllenhaal in his Mysterio suit, more or less confirming that he was playing the character. However, fans were anxious by this point, as there was no indication on whether Mysterio would have his fishbowl helmet. Luckily, sometime before the first trailer, the outline of Mysterio's costume leaked on a Dr. Pepper can, one of the first full looks at his full design. On December 5th, Jake Gyllenhaal officially confirmed that he was playing Mysterio, which was not exactly a surprise. Then on December 8th, the first trailer debuted exclusively at Sony's CCXP Brazil panel. It was shown only to attendees and notably did not acknowledge Infinity War or Endgame at all. Some described it as just a continuation of the Spider-Man universe, essentially treating it like a prequel or standalone adventure. Some photos that looked like stills from the trailer leaked by December 18th, although many fans thought that they were photoshopped. Then came January 15th of 2019. Tom Holland debuted the trailer publicly on his Instagram. The trailer showed Peter alive and on a European trip, but the trailer never explained how he survived the snap. And because the trailer refused to acknowledge Infinity War or Endgame, a huge portion of the fanbase began speculating that Far From Home might actually be a prequel taking place before the snap. The lighthearted European vacation tone, no mention of Tony Stark's fate, and no Endgame aftermath at all fueled this theory.
But if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, stop watching because there's some serious spoilers about to come up.
It persisted up until the next trailer, which explicitly showed Peter mourning Tony and dealing with the blip. Now by this point, the marketing tried everything in its power to market Mysterio as a hero. The trailers showed him fighting alongside Spider-Man against the Elementals, working with Nick Fury and claiming to be from an alternate reality where the Elementals destroyed his world. Many fans initially assumed that he'd be the villain, but the trailers deliberately subverted that expectation, framing him as this tragic and noble hero. The trailers also pushed the multiverse angle, and fans genuinely believed that this movie would introduce the MCU multiverse. In March 2019, leaked photos of Lego sets confirmed the two Elementals. By May 7th, a toy leak made people think that Spider-Man UK would also appear in the film, especially since the multiverse angle was being pushed pretty heavily in the film. On January 9th of 2019, a major plot leak emerged on Reddit. According to this leak, Tony Stark was dead and there were 4 elemental monsters in the film: sand, water, stone, and lava. And Mysterio was actually the main villain, with Chameleon as the secondary antagonist. Peter would spend most of the movie in a S.H.I.E.L.D. stealth suit before switching to a black and red suit that Tony had made for him before dying. The final fight would be a one-on-one between Spider-Man and Mysterio. Mysterio would use Chitauri tech, and Peter would have to ask Vulture for help. The movie would end with Peter and Michelle back in NYC in a relationship, but beforehand there'd be a love triangle between Peter, Michelle, and a new student named Alistair Smythe. Now looking back, this leak got some things right, and a lot of things wrong. It was correct about Tony being dead, the 4 elementals, Mysterio being the villain, and the stealth suit. It was also right about Peter and Michelle's relationship and some form of love triangle, but it was completely wrong about Chameleon being the secondary villain. The black and red suit was not made by Tony, but by one of Tony's machines. There was no Alistair Smythe, and Peter never goes to Vulture for help. There was another 4chan leak in June of 2019. This one was much more detailed and allegedly broke down the entire movie. Now this leak was largely accurate in its broad strokes. It correctly predicted the start of the film, Mysterio being the hidden villain and the elementals being fake, alongside some other general plot beats. But Doctor Strange does not appear in the film, Mysterio does not escape to another dimension, and most notably, the mid-credit scene is completely wrong. There is no Norman Osborn, no Sinister Six formation, and no Oscorp Tower reveal. So while the 4chan leak nailed the Mysterio twist and the fake elementals, it clearly invented many elements as well. After the film released in July 2019, there was many typical commercials and brand deals you'd expect from a film like this. However, the most interesting thing to come out of Far From Home's marketing was this apparent crossover mention. You see, just like the last movie, there was another massive food brand campaign in Mexico, but this one in particular really stood out. Sabritas released their annual Tazos, those collectible plastic discs inside chip bags. But here's the thing when it came to their collaboration with Spider-Man Far From Home. Despite promoting an MCU movie, for whatever reason the Tazos used the Sam Raimi Spider-Man logo on the products. Obviously, they were just reusing a stock image, but people absolutely ran with it. Safe to say, if you were following this movie online, There was never a dull moment.